Greetings, welcome back to Kaizen. We are now talking about planning the event. So in preparation for planning the event, we want to talk about the goals and the objectives because we want to be able to align this Kaizen event with the strategic goals of the organization. So within the strategic goals, we can align with the mission and the values of the organization and then come up with action items and results to align with those strategic goals. We want to be able to meet those objectives of the organization, whether that be a customer complaint or a defect that's affecting many areas within the organization, or whatever the problem is. We're working to meet those organizational objectives, and we're also working to change or transform that process within the organization. So the process of Kaizen is to understand the objectives and the goals of the organization and then the scope. So where are we going to start? Where are we going to end with this process? We also want to be able to schedule this event based on the availability of the team members. We surely don't want to schedule this Kaizen event during a holiday or during summer vacations and things like that. We want to be able to schedule this event when everybody, all the experts that will be on this team are available. We will also require real-time change because a Kaizen is a rapid approach to continuous improvement and to change, and we will make rapid improvements, so we will do this in real time. And it also involves the staff that work in each one of these different areas. Now, they may not have had some input to the change itself, but they may be affected by the outcome while they'll have to work in a new environment or a redesigned process. So we do have to involve the local staff. And team development is very important. We want to include some, the people that are experts that know this process very, very well. So a facilitator is important. The experts, the people that work in the area, are important. Also, a few supervisors, you might want to include them, and then maybe a customer. If it's affecting the customer in an adverse way, we would involve a customer. So there are some rules. We want to be able to pass on some rules for this Kaizen event. We need to order, we need to maintain some order, and we want to be able to standardize the process so we're all doing it the same way. Now, this first problem here, we have finger pointing. So we want to make sure that we don't point fingers, that we're actually looking at the process. Now, we said before, if we take this person out and put somebody else in, they're going to make the same mistake because this is the process that they work in. So we don't want to finger point. We want to be open to everyone's ideas. And, just because they've always done it this way for the last 30 years does not mean they have to continue this way. So let's question the current process and come up with a new process, something that's error-free and waste-free. We also can discard these fixed ideas because this maybe it's kind of working now, but it's fraught with delays and waiting, but we can look at this and say, how can we do this better? We can use problems as opportunities, and let's not make excuses. Let's, instead of saying we can't really do that, what about why not? What if and why not? So let's understand the data. It's all data driven. So we're going to make all these decisions based on data. We need to understand the data and then have a positive attitude. So in preparation, we can create a schedule based on availability of the team, the goals that you would like to accomplish, and also how much time do you have in the organization for a Kaizen event. Now, will that be every day at lunch, or will it be a 5-day event? So based on the availability and the time, you can create your schedule. But normally on the first day, you're planning and you're going through the details of what the rest of the session will look like. On the next day, you'll have some introductions. You'll set expectations for the team. you have some kind of focused training. Now remember, not everybody on your team will have the education and the knowledge about lean and Kaizen and improvement that you will. So you may have to educate your team in the topics and in the principles and tools that you would like them to use during the Kaizen event. You'll define the rules, you'll explain this charter that we're going to talk about, and then you'll discuss any strategies that you use during that time, and then what that summary is. And then the next day, we'll talk about the briefing of what we did the day before, and then analyze the current state. We'll brainstorm solutions, come up with some root cause analysis, and then come up with some possible solutions. Then the next day, we'll review and we'll go through the process. What did we accomplish so far? And then what is that future state? So what will our process look like? We can implement some solutions and then prepare our presentation for leadership. And then on the final day, we are going to talk about what we did as far as a team, what tools that we used, what is our implementation, what results do we feel is going to work, and then we need to educate the group or the persons that will be working in this new process. Will be able to educate them on that process as well. So that's what the schedule looks like for a Kaizen event. And it doesn't really matter in what format that you host that event, you can go over these topics within that event. So the process then is, first we have to develop this charter. Now this is a contract between the team and between the leadership. We are going to conduct this Kaizen event. This is a written commitment. Then the team and the management is all aligned. So we'll go through the strategic intent. What is the proposal? What needs to be done? The deliverables. So who is going to do what? What improvements are we going to make, and who is going to do that? And then the metrics are associated with the deliverable. So for every deliverable, what metric are we going to collect to verify that deliverable was done? Then we have leadership, we have our team, our stakeholders, we have key assumptions and key dependencies. You can fill that out. And then the scope. Where does the process start? Where does the process end? What is totally out of scope? What is the total limitations that we cannot do for whatever reason? There is a limitation here. And then you can add some cost and some benefits. And then the stages of the Kaizen, once we get the charter complete, we're going to talk about identifying the problem, brainstorming solutions, implementing a pilot, and then verifying that pilot was effective. Now, this is stages of a Kaizen or plan, do, check, act. Whatever you want to call it, we're going to go through these 4 stages on a high level to ensure that our process that we implemented is successful. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But other than that, we are now going to talk about the method and the tools that we will use during the Kaizen event. See you there.